Today on Mr. Nashville Talks, she stole our hearts on American Idol. Then she proved her worth as a Broadway actress. Now she has a new album, Gemini. We discuss this and much more. The talented and beautiful Diana Degarmo. Well, I am so excited because I am here with this beautiful lady, Diana Degarmo. I mean, look, she's just like a picture-perfect model.
I just took a shower.
Oh no, you're adorable and you're
Thank
beautiful,
you.
and we're going to be talking about her new album, Gemini.
Yes.
And a little bit of background about her life and everything, and she's a Nashville resident now. You know, she's moved back to Nashville for a while. How long have you
been over here over 10 years now.
Wow.
Which is wild. I don't think I've lived anywhere that long other than Snellville, Georgia.
Yeah.
So, yay, Nashville!
You still work all over and doing so many great things. And but did you live here when you were working at Opryland?
I did. I went. So in the 4th grade, I got my first out of town job. We actually came up here with my grandparents, and we lived just over off Briley Parkway and off Lebanon. And we were there for about 4 months, and I fell in love with the town. And I remember when DeMontbriand just had souvenir shops and the big Elvis out front, and then the giant gravel parking lot. I do too. Free parking. What?
Yes. Yeah.
But I knew as a kid, I was like, this is my second home. And the first time I had a chance to come up here, I put all my stuff in a U-Haul and moved up here. Didn't know anyone, and made my first friend in a bar, which I think is such a Nashville thing. Yeah. And toured the world and ended up meeting a boy and bringing him home to Nashville because I said, listen, if we're going to do this, let's do it. And we've been so happy here.
Well, Nashville, it's such a great place because now, I mean, we always were known for country music, which is wonderful. But now you've got rock singers here and all different styles of music.
It's Music City, USA.
Yes, I love that and I hope that they, they're doing so much reconstruction of the town. I hope they kind of leave Music Row alone.
I know. We're going to just be like, I followed the historic district groups, and I'm like, please don't touch that building. Don't touch that building. But
you think of Detroit, they love their Motown, and all these places, they preserve the history so well. But here we've not done that as well. Yeah. But downtown,
we're trying. We're trying. The creative energy here is kinetic.
Yes.
It really is, and we love living here, and it's a great oasis for us to come home to. It's a great quality of life here. So no matter where we travel, we like to come home to our little country cottage, as we call it.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's so great about you, you're very versatile. And you've done so many different things, like the Broadway things that you've done with hair and all of that. I mean, did you and Hairspray and
I have a theme.
Yeah, yeah, and then you and Ace did Grease here and so many things. What kind of got you into Broadway? Is that something you always wanted to do, or was it just straight into just any kind of entertainment?
Growing up, it was just entertainment. Yes. I've always just put it as I am a performer. Yes. I want to be on a stage making people happy, making people feel emotions, and I've done that my entire life. I grew up as a kid, doing the 1996 Olympics. I was a Coca-Cola kid. I worked at Opryland in the 4th grade, worked at Dollywood in the 5th and 6th grade. And I loved to perform no matter what it was. I did community theater growing up in Atlanta with the Fox Theater out there, being in the choir for Joseph and little things like that. And as I got older, Broadway. It's Broadway. It's like that's an upper echelon and something I definitely looked up to, but never knew how I would get there. Yeah. And I think the beauty of this industry is that everyone's journey is different.
Yes.
Some people go to college for it, and some people go study here or there, and I'm so thankful that Idol helped open a lot of great doors for me, and I've just been continuing to push them open ever since.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Dollywood, and I saw you in 9 to 5 as Doralee.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that experience like? That had to be incredible.
Well,
especially with
working at Dollywood was a dream come true, especially for a kid that grew up adoring Dolly Parton. It was just a wonderful, wonderful summer, a job that ended up becoming a Christmas job, and loved living in the Sevierville area for that winter, and I got to homeschool for the first time. I felt very fancy. And James Rogers had a show called The Music Mansion, and actually how I got that job was I went up there to an audition for something else and didn't make it down the strip to that show, I stopped and I was like, what is that? And we saw the big, beautiful mansion on the road there. My mom and I pulled in, we went and saw the show, we were blown away, and I walked up to Mr. Rogers after the show, and because he was doing a meet and greet in the lobby, and I said, I'm a singer. And I just started singing Patsy Cline to him. And to this day, I have people that I still know that were like, I remember your little precocious 8-year-old self going up and going, I'm a singer. And, who knew, going forward, X amount of years later, that I would be cast by Miss Dolly herself to play a role that she made so iconic. And working with her with 9 to 5 was a blast. She was so hands-on and so supportive, and we got to tech and open the show here in Nashville. So that was really fun to work, go from my house and drive over to TPAC, and it just was kind of, my worlds colliding. And Dolly, by the way, makes the best fudge
you have
ever had in your entire life. I mean, to this day, I can't make fudge. I have tried several times and I don't make it, but I miss her fudge so much.
What kind was it?
Peanut butter. She made peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and she was so cute. She made it on her bus. She had a whole rig on her bus, and she'd come out with these giant trays of fudge, and the whole company were like, Dolly Fudge is here. Dolly brought fudge. Dolly brought fudge. And we would all, it would be gone in like 30 minutes.
Well, I was there opening night here, and it was such a great show. And I saw the Broadway one. I didn't see it on Broadway, but I saw the filming of it. And I just think by the time they tweaked it and got to you all, it was so much better. Nothing against any of them, but I mean,
they streamlined it and made it more tour friendly. And I loved that job. I'm still very close friends with the other 2 ladies who played the Lily Tomlin role and the Jane Fonda role, and many folks from that cast. We had such a great time, and it was a blast to play.
Well, her husband came and watched the rehearsals. Did you meet him?
I did. I've never met her husband.
Yeah, he was there.
We always joke, and we would always say, I think that's him. As you're from stage, you'd look out and you see the little faces.
He was there the day the opening night, like the daytime rehearsal,
the dress
or the night before.
Yeah.
And he was there, and they said he had a suit on, and because Dolly was talking about it, and she said, he got a suit on and came, and he said he walked up to Patricia Resnick and he goes, "Good job." So, but anyway,
I love it.
Yeah, that's a little tidbit. Now you'll know.
Next time if I ever meet him, I'll be like, you should have said hi to me, too.
That's right. Well, now, you mentioned Idol. I mean, you said you begged your mom. I read somewhere that you begged your mom to get you to Idol. Because you are having a good, childhood career already.
Thank you. Yeah, precocious has definitely been a word that I got a lot as a child. And, very driven, and I knew I wanted to be on stage, and I'd reached a point in my career then where I was like, okay, you've got to go to the next level. At that point, I was performing all around the Southeast, doing things here, there, and everywhere, festivals, the Watermelon Festival in Cordele, Georgia, to, singing the national anthem for the Falcons and the Braves and things like that, and we all know popularity is a big part of the battle in this industry. And I was like, well, how do I get in front of a lot of people? Because I need to get seen. And there was this little TV show that I knew had been on for 2 seasons. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to get any more. So I begged my mom. I was like, please let me audition. And I actually missed the auditions in Atlanta because I had a previous commitment. And my mother was like, listen, you signed a contract with these people. You have to do what you said you would agree to do. And I remember being so bummed, but it was a good lesson. And a couple weeks later, my grandparents surprised me and paid to fly me out to Hawaii to go to the final audition, and that support and love and belief was so galvanizing. I was like, I'm definitely getting on this show if I have to go all the way to Hawaii. And I had actually had some family move out there, and we went, and my cousin was supposed to audition with me. Selena, I'm still giving you grief, because we got all the way up to it, and she was like, I can't do this, and she backed out, and I was like, and they called my name. I was like, okay, here we go. And who would have thought? It's such a wild roller coaster.
So is it really as relaxed as it? I mean, well, none of it's relaxed.
No.
But I mean, is it programmed like some of you'll see the behind the scenes and all of that? Was that kind of set up? Or
I think because because I was a part of those early years where they literally were capturing lightning in a bottle.
Everything, yeah.
They didn't know. I mean, no one knew how big it was going to be. We knew the show had done really well with the Kelly season and with Ruben's season. By the time we got to my season and the next kind of following, it just exploded, and they didn't. Nobody knew. No one. I mean, even the folks on the team, they joked. We're still friendly with several folks from the show on the production side, and they're like, no one knew what we were doing. Like every season you learn a little something, and they're like, especially in those early days, we sang to track. But by season 4, the next season, Carrie and Bo's season, they had a band on stage. Yeah. So every season you would see it. But yes, all those shenanigans, those were organic. There was. I mean. The things even I saw just in Hawaii, I'm like, there's a man in a Winnie the Pooh suit singing Usher. And it's like 900 degrees outside. Yeah. I'm like, what is going on? And I went up there and sang my song, and they were like, no, you need to sing this song. I was like, no, I'm going to sing what I want to sing. And I was like, I have 30 seconds to show off what I got. I'm going to do what I got. And I actually did the ballsy white girl move, and I did And I'm Telling You from Dreamgirls. Oh, wow. Like you do. I was like, okay, I got to show my money notes in 30 seconds. And I just started belting in their faces.
That's amazing. Well, it is great that you did that, because they might not have known, like, they're not as country savvy as they should be.
They weren't,
the show.
And that was the big thing back then. Is they were very, very distinct with, this is a pop singer show. Yeah. And I had growing up sung kind of a little bit of everything, even though my heart really fell with country music. But I was like, okay, well, and pop and country, they have so much crossover. I was like, okay, if I just get on the show. Yeah. And we can do what we need to do, and who knew that I'd even by that point you're like, how many? Wait, I'm down to the final 2. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Out of 150,000 people that.
Well, we were cheering you on because I remembered you from Dollywood.
Oh, thank you.
And when I didn't know the name at Dollywood. That didn't stick with me, but I saw you there, and I said, she was at Dollywood. I just know. And we had little videos and things. Yeah. So I was like, I know. And then in your bio at the time that they were talking about, or something came out, and it said that you were there, and I said, I told you she was at Dollywood. No one believed me. I said, you just think everybody's connected to Dolly, but
we are a 1 degree of separation from Dolly.
That's right.
That should be the new game. Not Kevin Bacon. It's Dolly.
Yeah, especially this music business,
Yeah.
And you were talking about the keeping up with some of the production. Did you keep up with any of the alumni that was in your cast?
Some, yes. Singers? It's kind of like when you go to school. Yeah. Your graduating class. You try to keep up with folks, and time flies when you're having fun. But I feel really lucky, especially living here in Nashville. I've made friends with a lot of other idols from other seasons, people that we never would have crossed paths really otherwise, and that's been cool to cultivate those friendships and relationships. I'm actually going out with one of my girlfriends tonight, Miss Melinda Doolittle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she sang on my record. Oh, and she was like, I asked her to do it, and she goes, oh girl, I'm coming over. And so she and my other friend Laura Matula, who did all the background vocal arrangements, awesome. We just had a hang day and sang backgrounds for my record, and it was, who would have thought?
Well, you have this incredible album, Gemini, and I was telling some people that the album, first of all, I love it. I want to tell you that, and it's so much it's all you.
That's what I was hoping for.
And when you listen, it's like if you listen from the first song to the last song, it's like you've been to a show, and it's kind of a mixture of Western swing and 50s country and 50s music and Broadway mixed with Dolly and Reba all together. It's like...
That's hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah. Is that what you're kind of going for? Well,
in the end, we just wanted to have fun. My friend Dylan Glathorn and I, who lives in New York, we've known each other for a very long time. We both met when we were babies, and I had just joined Hairspray up in New York, and one of the girls in my show, Michelle Dowdy, she was my Tracy standby, and she was also 18. We were the babies of the cast, and she introduced me to all of her friends that had just gone up to New York to go to NYU, and I knew no one my age, and so I ended up kind of osmosing myself and into their group, and Dylan and I became really good friends, and I watched him over the years grow professionally, doing tons of theater work in the New York area. And when I decided I wanted to write this record, I knew I wanted to write it on piano, and I don't play, so I have to have a co-writer who can obviously be versatile and kind of Dylan knows how to play everything.
Yeah.
And I know how to sing a lot of things. And sometimes, when you get with certain writers, they want to do a very specific thing. And I'm like, let's just write what we feel. Let's see what happens. You know, let's not try to have a formula for the writing process. And I told Dylan about my idea. I said, I just want to write this song. I want to write this album. I want to be able to meld all the things I love, classic country and western swing and big band. And I was like, there is a way to do it, but I don't know if there's anyone else who could understand it like you. And he knew exactly what I wanted. And within 6 sessions, we had written all the songs, and we just had fun creating art. We just started writing music and, and not thinking about, does it have to fit this radio hit, or does it have to go for this type of show? And I'm a live performer. So when we recorded the album, my husband Ace, bless him, I wrangled him into producing this record, and
he did a great job.
He is so great with seeing the bigger picture.
Yes.
And he knew, he was like, you're a live performer. We need to capture your show on this album. And he did. He helped put all the pieces together, and Dylan's arrangements and everything. It kind of just worked. And it's been such a fun, long process. It's an expensive process, especially because we wanted to do things the right way, and I wanted to give people what they were worth. And we recorded here at Blackbird, and that cost me an arm and a leg and a kidney, but we did it. And one of my very first friends, Slim Gamble, who now plays with Lady Antebellum, has been for many years. He was one of my very first friends when I moved to Nashville. I called him and I said, hey, I need to put a band together for a record. He was like, cool, what do you need? And I'm like, 9 pieces. And he was like, 9 pieces for a country? What? And, he brought together this amazing band here in Nashville that, just to hear my songs go from just piano and voice to full-fledged music within 2 seconds. The musicians here in town are just so incredible. I can't gush about them enough. So it's been a wonderful familial experience with everyone, all these people from different walks of my life coming together. My first Nashville friends, my first New York friends, my husband, our new friends here in Nashville, the design team, the Matulas that made the most beautiful artwork.
Oh, I loved it,
having, United Record Pressing here in Nashville be so wonderful and warm and welcoming to us, letting me go in and pick all my colors, and because I like to be hands-on, and they're going, we've never made a pink record like this before, and,
That's great,
and just having fun with it. Yeah.
So the vinyl, is it out now for people?
Yes. If you go to my website, dianadegarmo.com, you will find a button, and it will take you where you can find a vinyl. They're up on Amazon as well. Of course, if you want the digital record, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. All the places, things that I didn't even know existed. I'm like, what music platform? Okay, great, cool.
They're everywhere now.
They're everywhere.
Well, and it's definitely worth to get in the vinyl, just because you get to take it out, you get to you're invested in it. It's like you get to take it out and set the tone for the day, and the big pictures, and it's
the artwork. It's a piece of art. It's not just the great thing about digital music is that it is so convenient, and it's wonderful. You can listen on your phone or your car or wherever. But we're big vinyl nerds, and we love the ceremony of pulling it out, reading the liner notes, and placing it down and putting the needle. And it's in this world that is so fast and furious, and I know I'm always going 200 miles an hour. It's nice to have that moment to just stop and breathe for a second. And when we are home, that is a big ritual to our morning. Is one of us makes the coffee and the other one gets to pick the record. This big bin over here is just stacked full of records, and we have all sorts of stuff from classical to instrumental to old school country. We like to go to estate sales and pick them up, and now to know that I have my own record.
That's right. You have it on vinyl.
Yes.
Now, what was it like to work with your husband, to have him produce? I know you mentioned him, but sometimes there could be good and bad aspects of that.
Yes. Well, because sometimes, work does come home. It's 24/7. We've gotten better about going, okay, it's after 6. No more work talk. But I knew I needed someone who knew me better than me. And that's him. and I needed to trust someone, and I can't think of anyone that I trust more than him, because he knows if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And I'm such an emotional person, so the way I describe things are like in colors and shapes, and like I told I want to feel like when you're mixing the record, I want you to feel like you're in this comfy leather chair and you've got a bourbon and a cigar and it's a little smoky, and people sometimes look at me like, what is she talking about? But Ace knows how to translate that, and he knew exactly what I wanted most of the time before I even knew it. He's like, no, I got you, and he just knew how to wrangle me and corral the band, and he edited all the stems and everything. I mean, he's so talented and creative in his own right, and having him produce this record was, I think, the biggest blessing, because his stamp of approval and his love and care and attention to detail just made it even better than I could have ever done.
Well, we brought in Ace here with us, and Mr. Ace Young, and he is the producer and helped bring the vision for Gemini together. Tell us what it was like, to work on this kind of album with your wife.
Yeah, what's funny is this one, I don't think I brought the vision. I feel like I framed it.
Yeah.
Everything was bubbling out of Diana when she started this whole album. The Gemini literally was her writing with her other Gemini self.
Yeah.
And the two of her came together to form these beautiful songs, and I just had to frame it. Like it was one of the easiest, hardest things I've ever done in my life. It was easy in the sense of understanding and accepting the talent that was in everybody playing and Diana singing and everyone involved. The hardest thing was just making sure that we heard everyone's talent at the same time. So ultimately, there's two ways you can look at something. Do I want to make it sound like everything on the radio where the vocal's just too hot and you don't even know what the band's doing until you see a show? Or do we just frame the show? And we played with it back and forth for a minute, and the show won because it was her. Nothing was stepping on her statement. Everything was supporting it. So ultimately, by creating the live element that was already captured, by creating that in the audio, was one of the most challenging and fulfilling things I'd ever done.
The amount of hours that Ace and our mixer / grandmaster, that's a name I gave him, Lance Van Dyke, spent listening and tweaking and getting, because we tried to capture everything in one take. Just to make it as organic and live. We're like, unless there's a catastrophic accident, keep going.
Unless all the drums fall over.
Right. And even for the vocals, we recorded the vocals here at our house, and because we have a little home studio, and we were like, listen, I don't want to go in there and try to overproduce and make every single note, because that's not human.
No.
Right. No.
The human element gets erased from so many songs because they're just over picked apart. They're manipulated too much.
We need your breathing. We need your take.
And Ace was so great about keeping me on track with that, because of course the artist in me gets in my head. I'm like, oh, I got it. He's like, no. It was there. Just trust it.
Being able to work with Diana in the acting world as well. I get to see her preparation. You don't ever get to see her preparation.
Right.
So you don't know why you love the character she plays so much. You just know that you love the character she plays so much.
Right.
I get to see what she does to create those characters, so that when she goes out on stage, she is that character. And with this album, it was fun for me to see her create. She didn't create a character. She just let herself out.
Yes.
And this was probably the first time she ever let herself out. And the most beautiful thing is, she can't say it, but Diana's a genius. She's an artistic genius. And Diana found that genuine love of art and statement that she knew she needed to say, so that all you have to do is push play and enjoy the show.
Yes. That's exactly what I was telling her. It was like, listen, you could envision the show. So I think you've done a great job with it all, and giving it a unique, it's you. It's not like, trying to fit into a bubble of anything, and you capture that really, really well. And you just kind of, your personality just came out on all of it.
I know I'm a lot. So.
Well, Gemini has a live show, and
yes.
when you come see the show, if you pick up the vinyl at the show, we want that party to continue.
Yes.
So when you go home and put the vinyl on the next morning,
you get to relive what you just
the whole show's happening again.
Yeah, and then the cool thing, like we were talking about, the vinyl, you've got it all right there. The look, it's like you have a little program book.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
and each vinyl is actually different, so they're black and pink and clear. So no two people got the same exact vinyl.
That's
they
awesome.
all look very different.
Ace, you proposed to her on Idol. How did that feel? How did that come about? And did you really not know? And
I really didn't know. I was the very last one to know.
No, she had no idea. The funny thing is, for the whole year, every interview we did around work, people were surprised we were dating.
Yeah.
So when we got engaged, I didn't want anybody to be surprised.
Yeah.
I was like, it's either going to happen or they're all going to know it didn't.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest platform I can do this from? And it was 2 weeks before. I called Nigel Lithgow and I told him what I wanted to do. And he said, let me call you right back.
That's awesome.
And he called me right back and he said, yes, but we can't tell anyone until the day.
Till the day of it, yeah.
So I prepped thinking it was going to happen. Diana had no idea. And we had 3.5 live minutes in front of 21 million people. And
Crazy.
She said yes.
Well, how did you guys meet?
So we met actually doing the Broadway revival of Hair. A lot of people think we met doing Idol, but thank goodness we didn't because I was 16 and he was like 24, so that would have been awkward.
I met her as a 22-year-old young lady doing a very, very risque, powerful,
life-changing show.
Part.
And Hair, that experience was, that show was so powerful and changed my life in so many ways. Mm-hmm. And Diane Paulus said, I need you two, you're my leaders, I need you two to be the best of friends. So in a way, thank you, Diane Paulus, for bringing us together.
But it's amazing. It brought us together in a way where you normally have one event that's in your life that you can relate to somebody else, and you can look at each other and you don't have to say anything. You're like, we went through that together. We're good. I understand you. I got you. Whatever you need, call me. We have more than that. And we have like 3 or 4 now.
Yeah.
And that no one else understands.
Right.
And the roots that goes with that is that's the dream.
Yeah.
And life on the road is great. We get to go together, and we've been really lucky also in our theater careers to work together a lot, which is it's kind of an anomaly. Yeah, a lot of people are like, do you have to work together? Like, no, it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And, we're really lucky. We're going out on tour next year for 2020. We're hoping we can open the show here in Nashville with a show called First Date.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and so it's like we did Joseph together. We've done Hair together. We got to do Grease here
in Franklin.
With Studio 10, we called it Senior Grease. It was officially our last time to play teenagers.
Well, no, they did great.
Yeah, Melinda Doolittle was our teen angel, and we've had a really blessed life, and we're only a third of the way in.
Yeah, I was going to say you have so much to go. I've got a little gift for both of you all as we close out here, and we're going to talk to Ace some more.
Yes.
But we have shirts. We try to give all our guests a shirt.
Nice.
Thank you.
And you can slip in it or
that's fun.
play around in it.
Mr. Nashville Talks.
I love that.
That's awesome.
That's my ringtone.
I love it.
Subscribe to our mailing list and you could win a CD or DVD project by today's featured artist. To enter, please go to www.mrnashvilletalks.com and enter your email address. While there, take a look around, browse through our music store, or order one of our Mr. Nashville Talks t-shirts for $20. I want to hear from you, so follow our social media via Twitter, Instagram, or like us on our Facebook page.